2, 1.
Russos brand family. We are family.
Hello and what is going on? Welcome to another edition of Alterna TV. I am your host Brandon Stransky. Just got out of the shower, wanting to make sure I'm so nice and fresh and clean for the recording of this show. Originally wanted to do a watch along of Starcade '99. Unfortunately though, since it's a 3-hour show and schedules didn't really allow for it, wasn't able to get that taken care of, but still had to get something out. So I'm going to go ahead and get this little quicker, more shorter show out there. Don't really have a whole lot to talk about. Main thing I wanted to discuss is just a little bit of wrestling stuff today. So I'm decided that I've mentioned before, but I am going to get back into the wrestling business. I've discussed the gimmick a little bit, but I think I finally settled on what I want to do with that, where I want to go with it, some of the intricacies of it. Before I want to get into that, I kind of wanted to pay a little tribute to an old friend of mine, somebody I knew, who I worked for, the first promoter that I did anything with, the first promoter whose school I trained at, a man by the name of Ben Oliver, also who wrestled as Big Bad Ben, unfortunately passed away this week. And it was literally out of nowhere. He was in the hospital to take care of something. And from what I understand, it was a little infection that managed to make its way to his heart and ended up taking his life. Early 50s, I believe he was 50, about to turn 52. But yeah, man, it's he was a great guy. I had all my encounters with him where he treated me well. He was good to me. I saw him be good to other people. I know he had his problems, but he eventually managed to overcome them and kind of get past that. And he was a good dude, and I'm gonna miss him. And I'm sorry that I didn't have the chance to talk to him one last time before he passed. And he was a staple of the St. Louis independent wrestling scene. He was, majorly responsible for two of the biggest and most remembered and well-known independent promotions in St. Louis, Midwest Renegade Wrestling and Gateway and its successor, Gateway Championship Wrestling. Gateway is the one that I went there and I trained there and started their training at January of '07. Started doing cameras for their shows before the company eventually disbanded in August of that year. But yeah, man. Gonna miss you, man. Here's to you, Big Bad Ben. Thank you for everything, and I just hope you're at peace now, my friend. Okay. So anyway, I want to talk about the new gimmick I wanted to do. So basically, the premise of this new gimmick is my character is... the idea behind it is I'm going to be trying to purge and get rid of the cancer in wrestling, the SJW fake outrage PC culture that has seeped its way into and infected the wrestling business. It's in the fans, it's in the crowds, it's in the locker room, it's in business meetings, it's in booking meetings. The problem with this culture is, you see where the wrestling business has gone. The #1 company in the world is starting to bleed now. They are starting to actually lose money. They're not making money. They're losing it, as we learned in the last quarterly report. So basically, the premise of my character is to essentially make wrestling what it once was. That is my character's mission. That is my character's goal, is to eradicate and purge professional wrestling of the fake outrage SJW PC culture that has drug it down to the depths that it currently sits in. And of course that also a lot of it's going to be a lot of attacking a lot of PC culture as well. One idea I kind of thought of for the gimmick is if there is a prominent politician or media figure or celebrity that is currently making a lot of noise for SJW PC things and is basically promulgating that culture, one idea I thought of is kind of in the vein of Rick Rude getting a cutout of that person's face and coming out to the ring with that attached to my crotch as a kind of a way of saying F you, and kind of to try to rile up and kind of stick it to him. And yes, and there's going to be a lot of vulgarity. I mean, the idea behind the gimmick is to be as vulgar and offensive as possible, to try to basically piss as many people off as possible, get under as much skin as possible, basically kind of piss everybody off from left to right, top to bottom, and expose the hypocrisy of, expose and purge the nonsense, hypocrisy, and the BS of PC SJW fake outrage culture. As far as the look goes, I plan on kind of just cutting this back down to short, kind of keeping the facial hair, keeping the chin strap. I'm going to get rid of this. I've never been a fan of this, and I'm kind of too lazy to cut it or shave it because I'm just, I have a bit of a lazy streak to me sometimes. That's kind of what happens every once in a while. But yeah, kind of go for like the Lane Staley chin strap, facial hair, cut this short. As far as attire, thinking of going out with wrestling boots, camo pants, and like a black, like those black collared work, like polyester cotton work shirts, the button-up ones with the pockets in the front and the collars. Having one of those on the front of it, doing like anti-Nazi, anti-communist, anti-Republican, anti-Democrat pins on there, other kind of decorations. They kind of stick, an American flag, kind of like, almost kind of like dressed up like a militant. Like a military outfit with punk influence, like that. Have my gimmick last name on there, like above one of the pockets, an American flag on there somewhere, and on the back, kind of do like an interchangeable, design. Like one idea I had for another idea to have back there is a picture of Karl Marx with his a picture of Karl Marx's head with it in the crosshairs. That's one idea I was thinking of putting up there, and yeah, it's like super vulgar, super offensive. Like one idea I thought of, like if I was gonna have, I know at some point I was gonna do the Rick Rude thing with Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez's face on there, and in the middle of cutting, one idea has like having her face on there on my crotch, but in the middle of a promo, glance down and be like, oh wait, this is facing the wrong way, and then flip it over so that way the crowd now sees the back of her head, and it kind of looks like she's blowing me, because that's really all because politically that's all she's really good for, is sucking some of that Mark's dick. Ooh, did I just say that just now? Yeah, there you go. There's a little taste of the vulgarity and the offensiveness right there. That little Mark-sucking bimbo. Anyway, that's about it for this week. Hopefully, once I start getting this thing up and rolling, once I get back in the ring, once I get back in condition, once I start wrestling again, we'll have start applying some of this footage to the shows and start having that out there for you guys. But thank you all for watching, and I'll see you next time.